Hello and welcome back once again to movie reviews. So second movie I saw today, after Expendables 3, was Into the Storm. I just had the movie theater across town where I normally go, didn't get this one, so figured what the hell, I'll watch it while I'm here. Now when I first saw the preview for this, I was like, oh, it's gonna be like a remake of Twister with a little bit of like 2012, a pop, or what the hell was that movie? Armageddon, kind of like end of the world type of thing, but more Twister-ish, not really end of the world. And more or less, I was right. It's basically sort of a remake of Twister, but a little bit more boring, which is pretty sad because Twister had its good points, but it wasn't the best film ever made. So we start out with this half a found footage movie, half not found footage, which was a little annoying because they didn't really differentiate between the cameras other than you could kind of tell when someone was holding one versus being filmed with one, but they were like the exact same camera, even though this stuff's supposed to be shot with a camera phone or a GoPro or something. So it was kind of hard to differentiate when someone was talking to the camera or just kind of breaking the fourth wall, which was weird. So we start out with these four kids. They're sitting in a truck somewhere, parked on a dark road. They're making out, whatever. One guy whips out his cell phone to start filming, and they start seeing something in the distance. So of course this idiot kid gets out of the car to see what it is. It looks like lightning and everything, even though it's not raining at all, but there's all these sparks of lightning flashing all around him. So he's filming with his camera, and then you see the shadow of a tornado. At which point, get back in the fucking car and go, haul ass. But now he's just like, oh, I gotta get this, and like filming it. And of course, then he finally jumps back in the car at the last second, and the driver tries to back away from it. Of course, you're going backwards, you can't go that fast. So you're not gonna outrun it to begin with. But they probably could have got a decent distance away from it and had a chance to turn around and try to outrun it if this idiot hadn't been filming. So of course they all get killed. That's not a spoiler there. They announce it like 2 seconds later. Then we get introduced to one of our 10 different storylines. This film is very, very, like, too many stories going on at once. It's kind of like that problem I've been having with Michael Bay films, and surprisingly this wasn't directed by Michael Bay, which maybe why they were able to resolve it all without leaving a lot of cliffhangers and, like, what the hell happened here type of moments. So we're introduced to the Storm Chasers, and then we get introduced to this dysfunctional family. It's these two guys, one of whom was played by Freddie from iCarly. The other one, who's the main character, I guess. Don't know who he's played by. But they're brothers, and they they're in the AV club at school. Their dad's the vice principal. And their dad came up with this idea to do photo yearbook time capsule type of thing where you can film a message to your future self, and then like 25 years later it's going to be viewed or whatever. Even though they said they were going to put it online, so you could kind of watch it at any point, I guess. But, yeah. So they're dysfunctional because their mom left and later died. And they were all kind of broken up about it. Then you meet these rednecks who are YouTube sensations because the one's a daredevil. Like, he tries to jump his ATV over a pool that they lit on fire, ends up crashing into the pool, and he's like, his redneck friend that keeps encouraging him to do this stupid stuff, he's like, yeah, we're going to be internet famous for the rest of our lives. We're going to make so much money. And it's like, okay, it doesn't work that way, first of all, because it says he only has 302 viewers, or subscribers. So yeah, you got a long way to go before you're internet famous forever to where you can make money, dude. As a YouTuber, I know that. So those are our three main supporting storylines, I guess. Then they all kind of condense because the Storm Chasers come into town where these kids go to school, where their dad's the principal, chasing the storm. The rednecks who live in town see them come in, and they want to they're like, we're going to be storm chasers too. Let's go chase down the tornadoes, and we'll film ourselves standing near it when it funnels, and we'll be cool, and we'll get all these views, you know. And so they start driving around in their pickup, and it says like Twister Hunters on the back or something, you know. So then all the tornadoes start to go crazy, and it's like all this stuff that's never been seen before, like multiple tornadoes at once and multiple storms at the same time, and they're all converging in the same path and everything. And they're like, you know, it's sort of new, but we're learning to expect whatever after Hurricane Katrina and Sandy and all this. So it's got a slight environmental message to it, about, you know, the world's changing, and I'm sure they're going to blame global warming or something. Who knows? They didn't really go that far into it other than that. So then the one boy, the older brother, not Freddie, he likes this girl, and him and his brother are supposed to be filming the graduation ceremony at the school, and instead he goes to help this girl in this class that he likes refilm her documentary for an internship because her files got corrupted. And, you know, realistically, if he knew as much as he said, he probably could have helped her save as much of the files as he could so she didn't have as much to reshoot. But instead, he's like, oh yeah, I can go back out there with you and help you refilm everything. You know, my brother can handle the graduation ceremony. So, of course, they get trapped wherever the hell they were. So then the dad and the other brother are trying to get out to where he is to rescue him and whatnot, and they end up meeting up with the storm chasers. Their car gets trashed, so the storm chasers are like, well, you know, we'll give you a ride at least that far because that's the direction everything's heading, so that's where we're going to be going. The rednecks, you know, they're following the storm chasers around too. Eventually they get sucked up by the tornado because they're fucking dumb. So yay. They make it out to where the boy is. This whole time, the one lead storm chaser, you know, he's like overly obsessive about it and kind of becoming a dick. And it's like, that's all you care about is your film. You know, like one of the crew members gets killed during the tornado, spoiler. And, you know, he's just like trying to recover the footage. And they're like, that's all you care about is this film. And he's, you know, so of course you're going to have that change of heart moment. Which they don't even do that well, because when it happens, he still kind of turns into a dick at one point. But I'll get to that in a minute. So they make it out to where the boy is. They rescue him. And, of course, after they've already rescued him, the guy shows up, and he's like, I just came to see if you needed any help. And she's like, well, that's not the guy I know, you know, what's in it for you? And then he kind of talks to the one kid after he's rescued. He's like, so was your camera rolling the whole time? And she goes, that's the guy I know. So, then they get back to the school to tell everyone that the hurricane, or the tornado that's coming through is, the storm shelter at the school is not going to withstand it. They need to get in the buses and leave and try and get away from it, out of its path. So they're doing that. Of course, our main characters get trapped near the school, so they can't outrun the tornado. Oh no. So they manage to find their way down to the storm drain down in the sewer. And which is probably the worst place to be because it creates like this vortex that's basically going to try and suck them out, and they're all like hanging on for dear life. And there's this storm grate over the drain that's kind of preventing anyone from being sucked out of it, but then somehow part of it gets knocked loose. I think a truck gets slammed into the concrete or something and breaks it loose. So then, you know, then the other guy, you know, he's kind of like, I need to go, I need to get back to the other truck that's like an armored tank that can mount itself to the ground, because this is where he's going to get his big footage, you know, still thinking about just the film. Or so you think, because then he ends up driving the truck around and like ramming it up against the grating that came off so no one gets sucked out. He wedges his anchors into the ground, but they're breaking loose and everything, so you know, he's sitting there trying his best to keep everyone from getting sucked out. Eventually he gets sucked up into the tornado. It's never really said whether he survived or not. Yeah, and that's kind of the end of the movie. Then it's just kind of the kid's still going around shooting like the yearbook things, and it's after everything that had happened. So everyone's like, who cares about 25 years from now? We're alive now. That's kind of the same message everyone has. Live for the moment, YOLO. But then you never find out if the guy survived or not, which I assume he did because they're talking about, the film that he was making, which is the film I guess we were watching, because they're doing like documentary style endings at the end, and the one girl's like, he gave up everything for this film. So I'm assuming he died. They probably found him and found his footage. Then we fade to black, and then before the credits even roll, we see the rednecks that are still alive. They're hanging in trees, and, was your camera rolling the whole time? Yeah, we're going to be famous forever. Why are these guys alive? They were sucked up into a tornado with no form of protection. They get slammed into trees to the point that they're wedged upside down in the tree branches and can't get out. And they're still alive, but the other guy that was in this armored tank of a truck is dead? Stupid fucking ending. So yeah, that's the movie. Hope I didn't spoil too much of it for you. I want to say it wasn't a bad film, but it was basically Twister, but a lot more boring. Just so much of it. It took so long for anything in this film to start happening. It was ridiculous. As far as a star rating on this one, I don't want to rate it too low because once shit started happening, it wasn't so bad. So I'm going to say like a 2.5. I was going to say a 2, but once it started going, it wasn't as bad. So I'm going to say 2.5. So that's about it. Again, got to roll down the windows for a minute and get some air in here because it's a nice breeze outside, but when the sun's baking through the window and they're rolled up, I'm sweating like crazy. So that's it for this episode. I'll be back in a minute with the next episode, and until then, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Movie Reviews.